The final season of 13 Reasons Why hit our screens just over a week ago, and it's had some mixed reviews. Some people thought it was the perfect way for the show to finish, whilst others very much disagree and think it was a complete waste of time. I for one enjoyed the final season, and thought it was a great way for the show to round up. Season 4 was the final time that we would be seeing these characters on our screen, so I thought I'd take a look at all of the main characters in Season 4 of the show and rank them from worst to best. So, who's the best character in the show? And who doesn't actually bring that much to the table? Well, let's find out. Before I go ahead, make sure you go over to my Twitter @BrainPilot_ and tweet me what show or movie you'd like me to review next. So without further ado, I'm BrainPilot, and here is 13 Reasons Why Season 4 Every Character Ranked. Just to let you know, this video will contain spoilers, so watch with caution. Number 11. Arnie. Since Arnie was introduced in Season 3 of the show, she's always been one of my least favourite characters in the entirety of the show. In Season 3, she grated on me a lot. However, in this season, she was barely in the show and had the least amount of input or impact to the story, especially when compared to the rest of the cast. She disappeared halfway through the season when Clay was deteriorating and the story started picking up, and then she returned once the breakdown had occurred. Overall, I feel she's one of the worst characters to be introduced to the show and didn't need to be in Season 4. Number 10. Diego. Coming in 10th place is the character Diego. Diego was an okay character, but there were many points where I just didn't quite understand him. His love for Monty after doing what he did to Tyler was something that I found a little bit strange. He was playing a game and trying to get to the bottom of who actually killed Bryce, but it felt like he was living in Season 3 and I didn't believe that he would ever truly work out who actually killed him. His obsession with it was something that did gradually get on my nerves, as it felt like he had no other purpose than that, and that he wasn't fleshed out enough to carry a scene when he wasn't talking about either Monty or Bryce. Number 9. Tony. Like Arnie, Tony is a character that I've never really been a massive fan of. I know he's had a massive influence over the plot developing in previous seasons, however in Season 4, I feel he had a few stories that just felt a little bit forced and a bit pointless, such as his fighting storyline and his constant contemplating about whether or not to accept his scholarship. Whenever he was on screen, it felt like he was always worried about other people not keeping to their secrets and ruining the web of lies that have been produced. I don't feel he contributed much to Season 4 of the show. Number 8. Winston. Winston was an interesting character. I liked the way he was portrayed and the sneakiness and subtle manipulative behaviour that he had. However, at the end of Season 3, and even in the first episode, it was made out like he was going to cause havoc within the group and unravel the real killer of Bryce. Like Arnie, he disappeared for a few episodes and felt a little underused. I thought he'd have more of an impact or get more hate from the group once his identity was revealed, but it was never really made a thing. He was just communicating with Jessica and Alex, really. I enjoyed the moment where he came to terms with not living in the past at the prom, and that he loved Alex just as much as Monty, leading him to keep the secret. I think Winston was a great inclusion to the final season, even though his full potential was not being reached. Number 7. Zack. I really wanted to put Zack in a higher position, however, I feel he didn't really do much this season. The portrayal of the character was very well executed, and we've seen an amazing journey over the past few years with Zack Dempsey. This season, we saw a character who has given up on holding on to all of the lies, and he became a person that he was against in the first place, which in turn was turning him to drinking and not caring about his future. In the end, we got a great resolution with him graduating and an end that the character did deserve. It's been great watching Zack over the past few years. Number 6. Tyler. Tyler was and is one of my favourite characters in the show. However, he was very underused in Season 4. We got to see this character go through some real traumatic experiences the past few years, and he really did play a part in the development of the story of the whole show. But in this season, He was mainly on the side of the police and being undercover, and also falling for Monty's sister. Many of the group were cautious of Tyler throughout Season 4, and it got a bit old after a while, as they should have just trusted him. This mainly came from Tony, and that's what made it even more irritating. Tyler is a great character, and it's just a shame that he wasn't more involved in Season 4. Number 5. Charlie. Charlie was a great inclusion to Season 4. He was Alex's love interest, and although not contributing much to the overarching story, his relationship with Alex and allowing him to become the person he always was a nice story to have amongst all of the damage and destruction that we're used to seeing, and was witnessing with many of the other characters. He was a friendly, likable character that really brought out the best in many of the others in the show. Number 4. Alex. Alex is another character that I've enjoyed watching develop over the past few years, and the same goes for Season 4. Although the killer of Bryce, he wasn't involved in that element as much as some of the others. His story was mainly around coming to terms with the person he is and his sexuality. This was allowed to happen because of the characters Winston and Charlie. Miles Heiser has brought something special to this role, and I couldn't have imagined anybody else doing this character. His friendship with Zack was chemistry that I enjoyed watching on screen. Alex's Season 4 was around relationships and his self-discovery. It was great to watch unfold. Number 3. Jessica. Alicia Bowe does a great job as the character Jessica. In Season 4, she was using her power and hoping it was going to the right causes and being used in the right way. This was a student body president. I was a bit confused with them making Justin jealous with Diego, due to the fact that he wanted to focus on his sobriety, which surely, if you love someone, you would just let them do that. I don't know, I didn't quite get that. Another thing I felt was a little out of character for her was saying that Diego could ask her out on a date just a couple of months after Justin had died. It was very strange. Jessica always had a main role to play in the show, and this was the same in the final season. She didn't feel as heavily involved in the group, but I think that's because she was coming to terms with her own issues and wanting to be the right person. Number 2. Justin. Justin was easily one of my favorite characters in the whole show, let alone Season 4. Brandon Flynn outdid himself in the final season. We saw a sensitive side to this character, and we saw him suffering in silence throughout it all, something that as an audience member, I didn't even pick up on with the character until around episode 7 or 8. He had a very unfortunate ending, and it provided the most emotional moment in the entirety of the season. It was hard watching this character suffering in hospital. You really saw the impact that Justin had on many of the other characters in the show in that final episode. Justin went on a massive journey throughout 13 Reasons Why and brought so much to the show. Number 1. Clay. I think the top spot has to go to Dylan Minnette as Clay Jensen. He carried this season, and we watched the downfall of this character from episode 1 right the way to the end of the season, where he was managing everything in his mind. You believed the character 100% and understood his intentions. We've watched this character go from a boy into a young man over the past few years, and you can really see the development. I'm glad that this character wasn't just back to normal at the end, as that wouldn't happen in real life. He's gone through a lot, discovered he had an alter ego, which was a great inclusion, met with his therapist, and still needs therapy to help him recover. It's the start of a long journey for Clay. The performance from Minnette was amazing to watch, and he should be proud of the character that he's allowed us all to watch over the past few years. So, there you have it. What I think the ranking of all of the main characters in the final season of 13 Reasons Why is. It's been a pleasure watching these characters develop and grow over the past few years, and it's time to finally say goodbye to them. What did you think of this ranking? Who do you think are the best characters in the show? Leave a comment down below, and don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you next time.